Low-carb potatoes. That's what I'm planning today. I know that's why you're here. Today is March 26th. In the past 7 days, we've had a low of 17 and a high of 77. We've had rain, we've had tornado watches, we've had crazy winds. We've had a little bit of everything. So let's take a look at what's happening in the garden today. Welcome to Garden Preserve. I'm Carter, and I'm so glad you're here today. Let's get started. Low-carb potatoes. Is there even such a thing? Well, I don't know. I believe the marketing, sorta. All right, let's talk about the potatoes. I have a brand called, I'm going to call it Nicola. Nicola potatoes. I grew them last year. They're delicious. They're kind of a light yellow flesh. They don't get huge, but they're wonderful. I canned them up. They're terrific. I will say they are not great for storage. So make sure you have a preservation plan for them if you're going to grow them. So supposedly they are Atkins Approved. Doesn't make them high protein. Atkins was really a high protein guy, but basically they're saying that they are low carb. The marketing literature calls them low carb, low glycemic. So I don't know. They don't taste any different to me. They don't grow any differently. I don't know what makes them different. But anyway, I'm planting some today. You be the judge of whether or not you think they're really low carb or not. I'd love for you to chime in. So I'm planting those, and then I'm also planting some Cabbage. Cabbage are white fleshed potatoes. They'll be ready after the Nicola ones. These I will be using for canning the hash browns, french fries, mashed potatoes, all of that. So I'm very excited about those. I tend to can these in pieces that are, I'll do the small potatoes whole, and I'll cut the other ones in half. And they're terrific. These are the ones that I do dry canned in a jar, and then I smash them and crisp them up. All right, so let's talk a bit about potatoes. They have some similarities to tomatoes, yet in this one instance they are a little more confusing than the tomatoes are. So there are indeterminates and there are determinates. And they mean essentially the same thing as they do in the tomato world. So the indeterminates will keep growing as long as they have stem to grow on underneath the dirt. You don't want them above the dirt because they get green and poisonous, but underneath the dirt. So as long as you keep piling up the dirt along the stem, they can keep producing little potatoes there. And they will go until they're killed by weather or disease or pest. Determinate tomatoes, which frankly is what many of the commercially available potatoes are for home gardeners these days. They won't keep going up and up and up and up, but they still need room between the potato and the top of the soil. This is where those potatoes grow. So you want as much room here as you can. Now sometimes it's easier to get that, maybe if you're growing in rows, get that by hilling them up as they go. For me, I'm going to take the easy way out and I'm going to plant them extra deep. This is what I've always done. So that's how I'm going to do it today. I'm going to take you over here and show you what I've done. I have put a little bit of all-purpose vegetable fertilizer in the hole, and then I've added a little extra blood meal for some nitrogen because I really want the greens to get going right now. In about a month, we'll come in and we'll fertilize again. So one other thing we should address is buying seed potatoes versus buying potatoes at the grocery store, organic potatoes at the grocery store, and growing those. I've done both. I've had great success with seed potatoes. I've had spotty success with grocery store potatoes. The thing about seed potatoes is that they are guaranteed to be disease-free. Grocery store potatoes are not. In theory, if they're organic, they're not sprayed with a sprout inhibitor because that would definitely be a problem. But they're not guaranteed to be disease-free. And mine, generally about a third of them, succumb to disease each time I've tried that. So this year I'm going with all seed potatoes, and we'll see if it's worth it. I have 2 pounds of the Nicola and 2 pounds of the Cabbage, 32 square feet. We'll see what I get at the end of the year. And then we're also going to plant some broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage and Brussels sprouts today. So I'm so excited to get all of this out there. Ooh, and potentially peas as well. So let's get started. We have a busy day in the garden. It looks like a gopher's been in the potato bed, doesn't it? But no, that was just me. My bed is 8 feet by 4 feet, and I have dug 32 little holes, and I have divided my potatoes 16 each. So as you're looking at this bed down the left-hand side, those are the Nicola low-carb potatoes, and then on the other side, those are the Cabbage.
We were made for each other to hold on to. I was carved out of redwood beneath your moon. I was birthed in the mountains under the sun. Something's changed, you can't see my face in the crowd no more. Something's changed, you can't see my face in the crowd no more. We are living the dream together out here on the road, and our love takes center stage at every single show. But lately you've been distant, and I don't know what for. Something's changed.
Let's move on to the brassicas. This bed will house my second round of Roma tomatoes, which I would like to plant around the 1st of June or so. So I have a little over 60 days, maybe 60, I think it's 68 days from the time of planting these. So these are my shorter term brassicas. So several of them, days to maturity is 44 days, some 48. I think the longest one in here is 55 days. So, that's never entirely accurate. So I may be pushing it with a few. But I think for the most part, I'll be okay. I'll do my best to be patient in getting those tomatoes in if these are still going. So I end up doing 2.5 full beds, I think, on this day of brassicas. And I tried to put all of the ones that can stay for a long time in one bed. Not this one, but the bed with the garlic. That one I don't need right away. So you can see this is filling up. It looks like I'm spacing them very close together, but they're really like 18 to 20 inches or so.
Something's changed, you can't see my face in the crowd no We were made for each other to hold on to. I was carved.
Let's see how much we got done today. These are all cabbages. So I have 4 on each side. This is the bed where the tomatoes and the cucumbers will go. It's the bed that's waiting for more soil, as you can see. This bed over here, these are my long-term residents here. So I have Brussels sprouts, which take forever, absolutely forever to grow. So I don't know if they'll make it before we get too hot, but I'm going to give it a shot. I have 6 Brussels sprouts in there. And then I have broccoli. And these broccoli will be around for a while. I have some big head broccoli in here that's about 59 days. And then, as you know, they'll send off little shoots. So they can stay in there as long as they need to, or until I get bored with them. They are right with the garlic. And then this bed here, this bed is broccoli and cauliflower, and then some cabbage down at the end. This will be my round 2 on the Romas. So I'd like all of these folks to be out of here by, let's call it June 1st, so I can get round 2 of the Romas in. I think we'll make it. We'll at least come close. And if there are any stragglers, like perhaps the cabbage, I can plant the Roma tomatoes around those. So that's my plan there. Let's go over to the other side. This is the bed of forgotten lettuce. So these are the song cauliflower that I've planted, kind of interspersed with the lettuce here. These are 44 days to maturity. A little more, a little less, doesn't really matter. Sweet potatoes will go in here probably June 1st. So again, I can plant around any cauliflower that is a straggler. And then those are some onions down there at the end. So that's what we got done today. Now, I did not get the peas done. I meant to get the peas done. I am going to, you can see these metal things I have here. I'm going to put those on the bed so I can put some insect netting over my little babies until they're strong enough to survive a bunny or a squirrel or cabbage moths or anything like that. So I'll be covering everybody that I can. I was able to get a little extra garden time in, this time in my friend Christine's garden. As many of you know, I grow her plant starts and she grows my eggs, and it just works out beautifully. But she had had an accident and hurt her knee, so I got to go plant at her garden. I tell you what, her beds are a lot higher than mine, and my back was so happy. It was so easy. I loved it. Secondly, I want you to look at this garden soil. Her husband Rod bought a couple of yards of organic soil last fall, threw 1,000 worms on it, and then tarped it. It is amazing stuff, so dark, rich, and gorgeous. I just can't wait to see what it grows.
Beneath your moon, I was burning.